A FNAF movie is something that people get more hyped than finding the cure for acne because the opportunities for a film like this are endless. I mean, you're a stinky weirdo who sits in a computer room all night. Like, how many more Christmas presents can you give me in one movie? But if you did watch the movie, you would know that this was not the FNAF that they gave us. And that's fine because I still like the film. But if you don't know, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie follows this rascal named Mike who gets hired to work as a security guard for Freddy's Fazbear's Pizzeria to make money and still have custody over his little sister. But as time goes on, he realizes that this mutated Chuck E. Cheese warehouse is more creepy and dark than a festering nostril. Now, honestly, in terms of my obsession with FNAF, I have never played a single FNAF game. I've only watched it online, but I am a fan of the lore of the series, and I've kept up with the galaxy of theories that have come out because it's super entertaining to watch. So going into this movie, I had a very surface level to amateur level of knowledge about the games, and as a result, I also had low expectations of the film because the trailers looked okay. And the film was also PG-13, so clearly it's meant for kids and it won't go full devil horns up your anus level of gore. But honestly, I was pleasantly satisfied with how this ended up being. For example, Josh Hutcherson, who is the pretty boy buckaroo spearheading this movie as the main character, is someone who's troubled by his past because a long time ago, his brother was kidnapped, but he doesn't know by who. So whenever he goes to bed and dreams, he dreams about that moment he was kidnapped constantly and tries to Blue's Clues his way to figure out who kidnapped him. And overall, I think Hutcherson does a really good job at selling his role. Besides, he is the one carrying the film on his back like he's a 10-year-old on Fortnite, and he sells everything that he's doing. Like whenever he's tired, whenever he's angry, whenever he's scared, he overall does a super good job at playing a pathetic loser. I also thought the supporting cast did a really good job as well. I thought Matthew Lillard put up a bombastic performance in the film. I just love watching this grizzly Giga Chad act because he's always playing this annoying malnourished Taco Bell employee, and we don't get the chance to see him do many movies anyways. And Piper Rubio, who plays Hutcherson's little sister, gave a very bubbly and sparkly performance, especially when she started getting googly eyes every time she was around the animatronics. Who, speaking of which, these animatronics, these glam rock weasels, they visually were convincing, but I don't know how, but when the film demanded it, they were intimidating and elicited a certain level of fright, but in absolute no way, shape, or form did these demonic devil toys scare me. They were just intimidating, which is something that upsets me about this movie, because the overall film just wasn't scary at all. I mean, some sections had a certain sense of thrill, but everything was more predictable than Two Girls, One Cup. Like, this horror movie wasn't much of a jetpack joyride of fear. The best comparison I could give it is like going down the flattest water slide in the world or eating a raw hot dog with ketchup and mustard. Like, you may be entertained, but you know 100% what you're in for. But I think the main problem people have with this movie is the story itself, because jam-packing multiple games and lore into one movie is more difficult than trying to get a girl to like you. This is why questions such as why can't you just shoot these animatronics with a gun? Why have they never left the pizzeria? How do you take these kids, these dookie dunks, and rip out their soul and put it in an animatronic? Like, questions like this. And a lot of these things need an explanation, and the movie doesn't provide that, nor does it have the time to do that, because it needs to establish all the other donkeys, all the other characters who are in this film. This is why, in theory, this story could have been better as a TV show, but if they want to go through with making a movie, they need to do a better job at explaining everything, not just the characters' lives, but also the animatronics' lives. But you do have to understand that this film is made for the FNAF boogers. This was made with the fans in mind, which is why a good chunk of the things that happen in the film don't need that much of an explanation, because all the nerdy jocks who have been studying this lore more than their SATs can easily put two and two together, get more gamer juice running through their veins, and love this movie even more. And at the end of the day, that's what movies are meant to be. They are meant to bring people together, talk about it with passion, and encourage people to watch more movies. And FNAF overall did that, and that's mainly why I thought this movie did a good job at, even if you have surface level knowledge of the game. So yeah, 3 stars.